everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is the first time I've been filming at night in a long while. Today is the first day that StashAway has launched StashAway Simple here in Malaysia, and if you are Singaporean, welcome to the channel. You have already had StashAway Simple for many months now. So actually, please comment down below on your experience in using StashAway Simple because you would have more insight as to how it is like as an account or portfolio. Yeah, I would really love to know. So today I'm going to explain what StashAway Simple is and what am I going to be using it for. And I've not really used it yet, so it cannot be a review, so it's just talking about it. So let's jump straight in. StashAway Simple is designed to be a savings tool for us, and if you're familiar with it, it's a money market fund. And for those of us who aren't familiar with money market funds, what money market funds are used for, they are basically in between a savings account and a fixed deposit. A very unique type of instrument, and many corporations actually use them as places where they put their idle cash. And this is because fixed deposits are taxed in Malaysia, but money market funds aren't taxed. So it is a very handy way for them to manage their cash as a business, and it also represents a handy way for us as individuals to manage our cash as well, if we are not using savings accounts or if we're not using fixed deposits. So here is why it's useful. For StashAway Simple in particular, there is no minimum, and as we know, fixed deposits, there will be a minimum that we need to hit before we can actually open up a fixed deposit, and there is a lock-up period. So there is a period where we are depositing our money for, and it could be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a whole year, or more than a year. If we take our money out of those fixed deposits before we reach our maturity date, we will not be eligible to any of the interest that they guaranteed and promised us when we put our fixed deposits in place. But for StashAway, there is no lock-in for StashAway Simple, so whatever that we have in our account, I guess on an average monthly basis, will be calculated and then credited into our StashAway Simple account at the start of every month within the first week. At least that's what they have told me. So why I would be using an account like StashAway Simple is pretty straightforward, and that is because it is denominated in ringgit. So it represents an opportunity for me to be earning 2.4% per annum, and this is a projected rate. So there's a bit of a disclaimer here. 2.4% is a projected rate, meaning it is going to be around there in terms of per annum interest, but in the event that the OPR changes again, whether it is lowered down, then they would have to adjust that expectation to be a lower interest rate. So that's the same thing that happened for my favorite savings account. So I created some videos on that where I talked about I just point there, yeah, I'll link it up there, where I talked about my favorite interest bearing savings accounts here in Malaysia. But the thing is, when I made that video, the interest that they gave me was way higher. The highest interest was the OCBC booster account, and at that time it was 3.25%. Right now it is no longer that, it is I think it's 2%. And yeah, for when I choose something like a savings account, I don't want any frills, which means I don't want to jump through hoops just to get that interest. And that's why I like what StashAway Simple is proposing here. There is no frills, there's no terms and conditions that you need to carry out in order to qualify for this projected 2.4% interest per year. So that is a very cool feature, and that is definitely contending with my savings accounts and also fixed deposits that I could be putting my money into right now. So in Malaysia right now, it is 2%-ish for across the banks, and I have a couple of fixed deposits that have matured or are maturing tomorrow. So I have a lot of leeway to what I can be doing in terms of my cash management. So yeah, I guess this is an important thing to talk about. How do we manage our liquid cash? This is an important question, as important as what we are investing in, because our liquid cash, or that amount of money that we designate, we do need to keep some money in cash, whether it is for an emergency fund, whether it is for funds that we have not yet pushed out into the investment world. Maybe we are still deciding what we want to invest in. Maybe we are not ready to actually jump in and buy those stocks yet, or that property yet, because it is not the right price. So there are many reasons why we should be holding cash or would be holding cash, and there are places to put them where we can still earn interest, and hopefully we are earning more interest than less. Alright, so let's talk about why we would be using StashAway Simple, or what kind of money will we be putting into StashAway Simple. So anything that you don't need straight away, or you can afford to wait 3 to 4 business days before actually obtaining that money out of that account, you can be putting into StashAway Simple. So things like emergency funds, or maybe you are saving for something that is, you know, bigger, like a really fancy present to yourself, or maybe you're saving for a wedding, or maybe you're saving for a car, things like that, right? What kind of cash would I be putting into StashAway Simple? I guess for me personally, I would be putting things like my emergency fund, where I don't quite need it, and I hope the emergency doesn't require me to pull out the money like straight away, and I can wait 3 business days. So this goes into like preference, like personal preferences, right? So I personally don't keep my emergency fund into just one particular fixed deposit. I break it up just in case I need it straight away. So I keep some in a booster account, and I keep some in fixed deposits, right? So for StashAway Simple, I can put a portion of my emergency fund inside, so that if I really needed the money, I could access it in my booster account first, and the remainder, bigger chunk of it, I can leave it in StashAway Simple, because that will require me a bit of a longer time to take my money out and have it in my bank account after withdrawing. I think I talked about this in an Instagram story. I'm starting to save for a moving out fund, and I think this will be the perfect opportunity for me to save within StashAway Simple, given that the projected rate of 2.4% is higher than my savings accounts that I talked about. To pull it out within 3 to 4 business days, that's no big deal, because I know I wouldn't need the money straight away. So it's things like that that I guess really help me to manage my money and to hide it away from myself, to know that it is a little bit more tedious to access it, and I definitely won't spend it because it's so hard to spend, because you need to go through all those different steps. If you struggle with your money disappearing, I highly recommend to move it away into a different account where it is difficult to access, and I guess this is a pretty good opportunity to tuck your money away. Yeah, and I think it would be great as well, maybe if I plan to invest that money, it would be a very seamless transition from StashAway Simple to my StashAway portfolio, and yeah, there are no fees for transferring, so I think that's pretty cool. It's a great feature, another additional tool for us in our toolkit. And let me think, am I missing anything talking about StashAway Simple? I was talking to a friend. His name is, or his handle on Instagram is Rock Bottom Financial Journey. We'll link it in the description bar. He was talking to me about StashAway Simple and why he is utilizing it. I think it's a very similar amount of reasons that we talked about earlier, which is it's very straightforward, and it is definitely giving them a high interest rate, projected of course. And yeah, he was telling me in Singapore it's 1.9% projected per annum, and their banks are, you know, it's a very similar story, giving very low interest rates. Their base is around 0.25%, and then the additional tiers of interest you qualify to getting by doing a certain number of things, whether it's like putting in more money or putting your salary through that account, or a lot of things like buying investments or insurance through it. Yeah, you name it. So it's very complicated that way, and he seems pretty happy with his StashAway Simple account. So yeah, I guess it's great to hear that sort of feedback. So let me think, am I missing anything else? Not really. I think like if you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll do my best to answer them, and if not, I will direct you to someone from the StashAway team. I am a big fan of their WhatsApp feature. They may not reply straight away, but they will definitely get to you, and yeah, they're very helpful. You can even send them an email. So I will put my StashAway link in the description box down below, and if you have already signed up with StashAway, you basically just need to open your app and it's already there. You just need to click through it, and I will show you how it looks like. Okay, so here we can see there is a new bubble up here saying introducing our cash management portfolio. Okay, that's what they call it. It's called StashAway Simple, and we're gonna click on it. So I guess they're trying to hone in on how simple it is to be using this particular account portfolio, and they go through what we talked about earlier. No lockup, no restrictions on withdrawal, no management fees, no requirement to unlock returns, no minimum balance, no cap on the balance that can earn returns, and it is Sharia compliant. The really good thing about StashAway Simple, they don't make you jump through hoops. It's so straightforward. Okay, so here is the thing. They're gonna walk us through what this is about. Eastspring Investments Islamic Income Fund. So they are telling us where the money is actually going into, and I think this Islamic Income Fund is mainly comprised of Islamic fixed deposits. So yeah, they will tell you that. It's always great to know where your money is actually going. And here we are at the deposit plan. So another great feature is that they allow you to do a direct debit or alternatively a manual deposit. And by making sure we can automate, it requires no effort on our part and no self-control on our part. It is just fixed and automated, and our money just goes where we told them to go. Okay, so I am going to go for the manual deposit. Oh, yeah, so when you come to this part, just make sure you're keying in the right bubble here, because one tells you to allocate the money to StashAway Index, and the other one down there is talking about StashAway Simple, which is denominated in ringgit, by the way. So our money is actually held in ringgit, just so we all know that. And yeah, fill it in the right place. I don't know how much I'm gonna put in yet, but I will show you very soon, I guess. So as usual, I don't promote anything that I don't personally use, so I am going to test this out. I will transfer some of my money into StashAway Simple, and hopefully over time I can give you a review of this. But I do believe it's pretty straightforward. Like a money market fund, it's supposed to just give us interest and reward us for saving that hard-earned money. And yes, it's supposed to be simple. So yeah, that's it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!